to another video and welcome to Sammy G's World of Cinema. Today on the channel I'm going to continue on with my Wes Anderson film review series where I'm going through all of Wes Anderson's filmography and reviewing them individually. Like I've seen all of Wes Anderson's films before, guys. I just wanted to revisit his films and to review them on the channel for you guys because I absolutely love Wes Anderson, and Wes Anderson could be in the conversation for my favourite director of all time. And like he's just, in my opinion, had a really consistent filmography on the whole, and even a couple films I've not been all too keen on, Asteroid City and The French Dispatch. I'm like kind of ready now to go back and revisit those films, and hopefully my opinion will change on like those films when we come to revisiting and reviewing those films for the channel. So today I'm going right back to what kick-started his career with Bottle Rocket, Wes Anderson's debut. So Bottle Rocket came out in 1996, directed by, of course, Mr. Wes Anderson. The film was written by Wes Anderson and Owen Wilson, and it is based off the 1992 short film of the same name, also by Wes Anderson as well. I think the short film, I haven't seen the short film, but I think it clocks in for about 13 minutes, which, yeah, I might be quite interested to check that out, to be fair, to kind of like see how that would transition into being like a full feature-length film. And that'll be interesting to see that. But yeah, the cast is Owen Wilson, Luke Wilson, Robert Musgrave, Andrew Wilson, Lumai Cavazos, the wonderful James Caan. So, Bottle Rocket takes place in Arizona, and it is starring two best friends, Dignan, played by Owen Wilson, who, this is in his in his first debut acting role. And the same can be said with Owen Wilson's brother, Luke Wilson, as Anthony in this film. So basically, Dignan rescues Anthony. They decide to go on a sort of I think Dignan has like a 75-year plan. And part of that plan is to kind of go on like a streak of robbery through all of these these places, these number of places that they can think of under the sun, on the surface, and to go on a heist scheme alongside their driver and friend, associate, Bob, played by Robert Musgrave. When things don't go all according to plan, they kind of venture out on the road and stop at a motel where Anthony, who has a fondness of a cleaning lady named Annette. Anthony starts to build a bond and a real fondness of Annette, and who works at the hotel, who's a cleaner, and they start to have a bit of a romance, a bit of a side story there, and but at the same time, best friends Dignan and Anthony have a plan in mind that they want to make a deal and strike up a deal with a businessman, Mr. Henry, played by James Caan. So that's a bit about the plot there, guys. What's my thoughts of Bottle Rocket? I've got to say, guys, I love this film. I think it's kind of, again, I think a lot of people, this does tend to fall mid-tier in regards to Wes Anderson's filmography. I'm in the camp that I absolutely love this film, and it was a film when I first watched this, I think it was 5 years ago, I want to say, maybe it's on DVD. And I must admit, this film wasn't love at first sight, I've got to say. There has been a few Wes Anderson films that wasn't love at first sight, but then on subsequent viewings, I had grown a real fondness for that movie. Bottle Rocket falls into that bracket for me where it wasn't a love at first sight, but then on subsequent viewings, I would end up really coming to appreciate and really liking the movie, and now can even say I kind of love this one, to be honest. I think this is a fantastic directorial debut film for Wes Anderson, where you don't really see his sort of like established sort of style or vision right off the bat in this movie. I think that would come more into the picture in, say, something like The Royal Tenenbaums or Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. So this is kind of more of a grounded sort of piece for Wes Anderson's filmography, but is still a great way to kickstart his career and hit the ground running there. You know, it's kind of a film about friendship in a way, and, you know, like two friends that kind of got all these ideas, you know, and stuff, and they want to kind of go forward with this 75-year plan they've got in place. And yeah, I just found all of that so interesting, kind of two friends that are close with one another, you know, close friends, and they kind of have all these ideas and this plan set out, and I just found it really interesting. And it's kind of interesting to learn how they kind of want to then go on like this robbery and heist, but I think the chemistry between Owen and Luke Wilson here is brilliant. You know, like Wes Anderson really got the, you know, the real greatness of both of these actors in like this movie, but subsequent movies to come. And yeah, Wes did a great job with casting both of these like actors here, both brothers, and in their debut roles. And yeah, it just absolutely delivered on screen, because yeah, I couldn't think of a better pairing than Owen and Luke Wilson to play both of these like best friends in the movie. So this was a perfect casting choice. I absolutely love, now I am a sucker for a romantic movie, guys. I love a drama movie. I love a romantic movie, a romantic drama, a drama film, a film that is under the category of drama. And I think my favourite part of the movie was probably the side story between Anthony and Annette when they get to the motel. I just love that side story, guys. Again, something that would come in and out of like Wes Anderson's subsequent movies, where there is a bit of a romantic side story. And yeah, I just really loved their chemistry in this film. And when you see kind of 1 minute they're spending time together, but then 1 minute they're like kind of a little bit distant, and they're not really like on screen together for a certain period of time, you realise that they want to be closer together than ever. And I just think that was beautifully put to screen. And yeah, I just love how sort of like Anthony would just keep appearing and reappearing, and, you know, like really kind of like building a real relationship and bond with Annette. And kind of like, I love how he would just, some of the stuff he would come out and say as well. And I did actually like the hotel setting as I just think it was, you know, like a really good like sort of like location choice for somewhere where like the three main characters can like sort of like, you know, like hang around like this place whilst they're kind of, you know, like on the run from like kind of the police and stuff, whilst they're kind of like trying to find the guys that have kind of either robbed this bookshop in the film or like this convenience store. And I think the hotel was a good like choice of location for this film where they could like sort of like chill out and hide out from like kind of and sort of like build a further plan to meet Mr. Henry. Now, Mr. Henry was one of my favourite characters in the movie with James Caan. Whilst he didn't have, you know, like as much screen time in this movie as I would have loved to seen more of James Caan, as I think anyone would have loved to see more of James Caan in this movie, it was still great for him to have a great like additional role to the story here. And there's one really cool scene where he's basically sticking up for I think is it Anthony or is it Bob, played by Robert Musgrave, and I think he kind of sticks up for like Anthony and like kind of who's been a little bit like teased on sort of thing, and yeah, like the way he just would stick up for him in that, but kind of like he has a bit of a sarcastic sort of sense of humour there, and the way he like gives him a piece of his mind. It was just a really awesome scene in this restaurant. I don't mind the soundtrack to this one, guys. I'm gonna be totally honest, I don't think the soundtrack is as memorable as Wes's subsequent movies, in my opinion, but it's still a decent soundtrack. I think like Rushmore and Royal Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic, Darjeeling, etc. I think have got far superior soundtracks, but the songs that are used in this film is still pretty decent as well. I have to say, guys, I must admit, Bob, played by Robert Musgrave, who, don't get me wrong, does still do a good job in this film. Bob is not as memorable in this movie. I know he does have a bit of a bigger part to play in the story, but he doesn't really, he's just not as an interesting character as Anthony and Dignan in this movie. I think they just steal the show, to be honest, both the Wilson brothers in this film. And yeah, Bob, I think he just doesn't really, I don't think he's got that same sort of, I just don't find his character as memorable as the other characters in this movie. But when he's on screen, he's all right. He does a decent job to the story, and you know, like I think when he kind of leaves the hotel for a bit, it kind of also leaves on this thread for like a bit of a mystery element as well, thinking, hang on, why has Bob left the hotel for, and like where's he gone elsewhere? So it did have a bit of a mystery feel about it, this movie, at times as well, which is what I did quite like, because this is kind of under the crime comedy genre. Yeah, there's some really great comical moments in this film. I love the whole road trip feel of the movie, which I think, I don't know if there's too many other Wes Anderson movies that have had like kind of a bit of a road trip feel. I mean, don't get me wrong, like obviously there'd be like other travel sort of films, like obviously we had that of course with like sort of recently the Bohemian Scheme, but also with the Darjeeling Limited, but it's nice to have a Wes Anderson film as well that's got a bit of a road trip feel, and this is definitely does serve a good purpose to the story, especially with what the plot is going for. And yeah, I think it's a pretty good like opening scene as well, and kind of Dignan and Anthony kind of like testing the water, and to kind of like do a little bit of practicing with like kind of like how they're gonna like tackle like this heist. And they start by going to this family's home and stealing like this list of items, but actually one of the items wasn't on the list. And again, that does actually intertwine into something else to come as well. And actually, Anthony also really liked like kind of like his chemistry with his sister as well. And he would be kind of like giving updates to his sister of how he's getting on the road. And yeah, I did really like how there was a bit of a family side plot in this movie as well. I do love the final act as well, when you get to the whole shebang, like the main sort of like the kind of the ultimate heist that happens towards the end. And oh my god, guys, when shit hits the fan, it hits the fan big time. And there is just one scene, without spoiling it, where this sort of like freezer, you find this freezer is just left open, and oh my goodness, and then there's this alarm that goes off, and and oh my god, that all the characters are just shitting bricks, thinking, what the fuck are we gonna do right here? And yeah, in order to get to A to B and Y to Z, and yeah, I thought that was there was a couple really comical moments there without kind of spoiling it, but this is a fantastic directorial debut film from Wes Anderson. Again, like Rushmore, one I would consider to be like underrated as well. Like, I think this is a film that does get a little bit of a mixed reception, and I think I can understand that, because this isn't got the sort of like the Wes Anderson sort of tropes or idioms that you would kind of see more of that come into the picture in his subsequent films, but treating it as it's kind of like its own thing, and kind of how directorial debut films go. This is a solid one. This is actually, no, this is a very good way to kickstart Wes Anderson's filmography, and it's a film that has definitely grown on me on subsequent viewings. Interestingly enough, Martin Scorsese really put this one in high regard in his top 10 films of the 1990s. Also, I read up somewhere, I think they were kind of like going through like the casting of characters. I believe originally there was the idea that Bill Murray was going to originally cast Mr. Henry, and I can see Bill Murray doing a really good job as Mr. Henry. However, I really do think it was a great choice with James Caan, and I think this was James Caan's only film with Wes Anderson as well. So it was still lovely to say that we got like Wes Anderson worked with James Caan, and of course Bill Murray we would see come to town in Wes Anderson's like subsequent movies, because I think he's been in near all of them, and yeah, so like even though he didn't play Mr. Henry in this film, it's still really good knowing that Bill Murray would come back time and time again in like Wes Anderson's subsequent films, and he does a damn fine job in many of his films as well. Like, he's just a perfect casting choice for his subsequent films there. So really good story, guys, character work, and yeah, I just love, again, like kind of, it's sort of a bit of a grounded piece, a grounded story, but it's something kind of different as well in terms of like the blends between crime and comedy. And Wes Anderson would do something of a similar style and a similar bulk into like a couple of like his subsequent movies to come down the line. So Bottle Rocket, I'm gonna give an 8 out of 10, guys. I love this film. Maybe I'm being a little bit generous with my score there, considering this isn't held in high regard as many of other Wes Anderson's other films, but it's a film that I think on first viewing I would have given it like a 6.5 out of 10, and it is reached to like a whole new level of where I would rank it now in his filmography, and in like up into the score as well. So really good movie, guys, and again, coincidentally, it would be a great introduction piece to anyone who is new to Wes Anderson's work as well. So guys, this is my Criterion copy, which I believe a bit like Rushmore and Darjeeling Limited, Royal Tenenbaums. This is also on a deal of $14.99 at HMV right now, which is a bargain, guys, considering brand new Criterions nowadays go for £23, and this is on deal right now for £15 as well. Now, this is my oh yes, I went to go and see this at Tyneside Cinema, part of Wes Anderson's season a couple of years ago. That is actually where I became more fonder of this movie, to be fair. And yeah, the 75-year plan, this is just how you do it, guys, when it comes to this sort of packaging here. And yeah, just Criterion have put their heart and effort into this movie. It is terrific. I believe they did something similar with Marriage Story as well, where they would actually include like the full sort of like letter and that. So yeah, great stuff. So that's a bit of the packaging there. So yeah, guys, do let me know your thoughts on Bottle Rocket if you've seen it, and have you got a favourite Wes Anderson movie? Where does this rank for you in Wes Anderson's filmography? Like, if you're a fan of his filmography, I would love to know all of that good stuff in the comments down below. And I'll be back for more content soon, guys. So thanks for watching. Cheers for stopping by. And until next time, I'll see you for the next video. Bye-bye.